Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the NXT Ring Report. Well, the NXT Ring Report, we coming from you after Bound for Glory. Coming up here, talk about this. Josh Bridge takes on Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona making his return back to NXT. Better known as Zack Ryder. If Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona get a win. We'll talk about it coming up. Well, it's this right here. Here go Draggy Joe. He's gonna be in action. He takes on Lexus King one-on-one. And Lexus King get retribution on El Deco. Drag County. We'll talk about it coming up. But this women's action. Zarya takes on Blake Monroe. One-on-one. Zarya taking on Blake Monroe. We'll talk about it coming up. And who will get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship, as there'll be a women's battle royal. All these women will compete for an opportunity to meet Jaycee Jang for the championship at Halloween Havoc. Get the NXT started for the Ring Report right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the NXT Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kenny Dix here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to the nitty gritty and let's get to what's going on here on the NXT Ring Report. We'll have a little bit later on Scott Stein on the heat check on what he was saying about his nephew, Braun Breaker, and what Braun did to Seth Rollins. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. And what what's his name had to say. We'll get to it in a minute. But we kick off with this. The NXT champion, Ricky Saints, want to call out Trick Williams after Trick Williams screwed Ricky Saints and the rest of Team NXT at last week's Invasion war showdown, or whatever you want to call it, screwing NXT becoming the dominant brand over TNA. Well, Trick Williams lost his TNA championship. You got that on the TNA Bound for Glory Ring Report recap. But Ricky Saints wants a piece of Trick Williams, and Ricky Saints wants Trick Williams in one way or worse way than another. Ricky Saints said he'll do whatever it takes to do what he got to do to get his hands on Trick Williams. Trick Williams said that it's gonna be on his time, his place, and it's gonna be when he wants to strike. Well, Ricky Saints laid out the challenge and said, "Hey, I want you for the NXT Championship at Halloween Havoc, the main event." So we likely might get there for the main event, but Trick Williams still talking about he has everything. He has cars, the girls, the fame, the fortune. He just don't have the TNA championship, and he's a little bit disgruntled about it. But he can add getting back the NXT championship and become a 3-time NXT champion. And Trick Williams saying that it's going to be on his time, his place, his rules. So we'll see if Trick Williams will accept that offer. Well, we get to this right here. Josh Bridge, the rookie, taking on Matt Cardona one-on-one. Josh Bridge versus Matt Cardona. What a match that was. Josh Bridge finding ways to cheat and do everything he can. And you see right, Josh Bridge trying to do devastating maneuvers and stuff to Matt Cardona. Even Josh Bridge took down Matt Cardona with that move right here and got the victory right here. Hitting Cardona and still on that ring to win. So Josh Bridge doing what he did best, pinning Matt Cardona and making light work of Matt Cardona. I think Matt Cardona really was trying to help Josh Bridge, but I think Josh Bridge decided to do things on his own, and pinning Matt Cardona is a first-time step. Well, speaking of that, the Hardy Boys came out there, the TNA / NXT Tag Team Champions came out there with Javon Evans and got his name, Leon Slate. Yeah, Leon Slate. Man, I remember when the Hardy Boys were young like them. Them boys weren't even born yet. Then the Hardy Boys started become more tag team champions in the early 2000s when them boys was about like in preschool or something. And now the Hardy Boys are kind of like in the end of the road and stuff, winding down their careers. Yeah, Javon, they are a bit of advice on what to look for and stuff. But the Hardy Boys was out there to come out there and know that next week the Hardys will be in action. They're gonna put the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line at Halloween Havoc against Dark State. We just don't know which four members of Dark State they're gonna put the tag team titles against. But Dark State then waiting on the time, attacking both Hardy Boys, leaving an example. I think the Hardy Boys really paying dividends tonight, being attacked, winning the tag team championships last week, and now getting attacked by Dark State. So we'll see. Halloween Havoc comes a little bit sooner rather than later. We'll have that for your Halloween Havoc. Predict the outcome as well as the review for Halloween Havoc when we do have it come your way. Also, too, Ava, the general manager, announced that it's going to be the Speed Championship is coming back, but just for the men. Ava announced that four men will compete for opportunity to wrestle El Gran Americano at Halloween Havoc for the Speed Championship. And you see right here who Axion, Sean Legacy, Axion from SmackDown, Sean Legacy from Evolve versus Jasper Troy and Zachary Wentz. So we're seeing a lot of faces. The speed tournament kicks off next week, so looking forward to seeing that as well. The speed tournament. Well, we get to this right here. El Gran Dejego taking on Lexus King. El Gran Dejego taking on Lexus King. I think Lexus King didn't have no shot whatsoever. Lexus King lost to El Gran Dejego. El Gran Dejego lost. Lexus King get the victory over El Gran Dejego. Well, El Gran Dejego had called out Ethan Page and told Ethan Page that he wants him in a circle of death match or something for Halloween Havoc. And the match will happen for Ethan Page's North American Championship. So Ethan Page set to defend the championship against El Grand, you know what? The death match. So we'll see that match coming forward as well. So a lot of moving parts in this right here. So we see that they're moving it quickly. Also, too, the new version of Toxic Attraction. They dumped one person, they added a new one in. Look like Jaycee Jang. Got her name. They added a new girl in there. So new girl right there on your right. She's in the group. So it's like Destiny's Child, but Beyonce kicking out members that she really didn't gel with, but now she's gelling with them. So we see. Speaking of that, Zarya went against. I think who Zarya went against. And we saw Zoro Roca. Oh yeah. Zarya went against Blake Monroe. Zarya taking on Blake Monroe. Zarya took on Blake Monroe. Tell right here. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But Blake Monroe won with using a hairpin to Zarya's neck and got the 1, 2, 3, and Zarya went down. You can see right there. You can tell right there how that went even further. Where that went down too. Blake Monroe getting the 1, 2, 3 over Zarya. Then with the DDT, leaving Zarya out and hanging. I think Zarya's gonna really be looking at Blake Monroe a little bit different than other before. Well, we get to this right here. The NXT Women's Championship Battle Royal. Which one of these lovely 20 women will compete for an opportunity to meet Jaycee Jang at Halloween Havoc for the NXT Women's Championship? That's the question everybody wanted to know. And well, a Battle Royal it was to the final end. You see right here. It's just Taylum Paxson. Taylum Paxson earned herself the shot. Taylum Paxson is now the new #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. She got greeted by Lyra Valkyria. Taylum Paxson will earn herself a match for the NXT Women's Championship. Looking forward to seeing Taylum Paxson getting the opportunity to wrestle for the NXT Women's Championship coming up at Halloween Havoc. Also, too, we got the honorable mentions as well as OTM over the mill are back, and they looking to get the tag team championships. They did by attacking Hank and Tank, causing destruction, chaos, and mayhem to Hank and Tank. So Hank and Tank better watch their backs. With who that guy going on stuff. All right, that ends the NXT ring report. Let's move over to wrestling hot topics. Wrestling hot topics. We want to talk about this. We know that Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner had a lot to say, and Scott Steiner even wrote this link. Oh, Scott Steiner been working with this lengthy text right here, and here's what Scott Steiner had to say. We remember yesterday we told you that Seth Rollins got attacked by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker saying he's tired of waiting around. He's gonna move forward, and guess they had to kick Rollins out the group. So Big Papa Pump saying, so let me break it down for all you dummies that don't understand what just happened. You take Seth Rollins, the so-called visionary, and you put him in a ring with Braun Breaker, a genetic freak, but Seth didn't calculate what was betrayal. Quote, let's do the math. Seth thought he had a 1% chance of survival with Braun at his side. But what he didn't know is Braun he got a 60 cent 2% lower than when it comes to family bloodness, and the other 33 is just 33 and 3% pure rage, just like his uncle. And so Seth sitting there asking why. I'll tell you why, because Braun had not here to play backup. He's here to take over. He's a dog face destroyer. And now the leash is off. So Seth, take your eye off the map. You have a 100% chance again betrayal, and now you have another sister in the Steiner equation of pain. Well, I guess he got that right. We didn't see that coming. We thought we was gonna be waiting too long, but like I said, check back for the Raw ring report. It's in the archive right now. What went down last night, so you can always look back to see the recaps and what went down. But he made it clear, made it simple. You saw right there. But speaking of that, Ridge Holland telling everyone that his WWE contract is coming up. This is what Ridge said, that I've been informed by WWE that they will not be renewing my contract when it ends November 14th. WWE is still going to cover my rehab injury, but my guarantee pay will end. Quite frustrating to say, at least, as I can't work for another 6 months due to the affirmation injury and a family of 5 to support. Wow. My career with WWE has been blinded by misfortune, but I'm still thankful and grateful for the opportunity experience shining. Always kept me going as a huge support, a handful of special beings. Thank you. I am sure what lies in terms of wrestling going forward. Man, you got a family of 5 to feed. I didn't know you had 5 kids, but um, oh, man, well, my heart goes out to him. So hopefully he'll find work, maybe in TNA, or he was doing a few with Santana. So you never know. He might bring that back. Hey. Well, Trick Williams ended his reign this past Sunday at 140 days to the TNA Championship, but he did some work with being the TNA champion. But hey, Trick Williams right there, former TNA champion. Trick Williams moving forward, maybe going for the. We know next week Trick Williams will have a contract signing with Ricky Saints, the NXT champion. Can Trick Williams regain the NXT championship and get back on his feet again? That's the question that everybody wants to know and everybody wants to talk about. So I guess we'll talk about that coming up shortly. All right, that's gonna do it for the NXT Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. So we'll see you tomorrow with the AEW Ring Report here. on the Pro Wrestling Show. So I'm going to leave you with Ricky Saints and Trick Williams having their face-to-face confrontation, getting ready for next week's contract signing for the championship at Halloween Havoc. I've been your host, Kendrick Dixon. So long. We'll see you tomorrow for the NXT, for the AEW Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show.